given the chance to be known by Jesus or known by your work, which would you choose? Join me this morning for Bible study number 162, Known by Jesus. Hey everyone, this is Pastor Mark Pierce with Church Requel, and I'm sitting here on a very early, quiet morning in my patio, in my backyard, doing my own personal Bible study this morning. And you know, the whole point of these studies is just in a less than 10-minute period of time to invite you to join with me wherever you are, whatever time of the day it might be for you, and work our way through the Bible on a verse-by-verse basis. We've made our way up to Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 through 23. So if you would get your Bible out, I'm reading in the English Standard Version, Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. We're getting very close to the end of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. Have some sobering words for us to be reminded about this morning. Jesus says this, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day many will say to me, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many mighty works in your name?' And then will I declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness.'" You know, it's really easy to forget that Christianity is all about relationship and is not about religion. Religion tells us what we must do to move toward God. The Christian relationship, on the other hand, is all about what God has already done through the work of Jesus Christ so that we might know Him and have a relationship with Him. In religion, man does works to close the gap between God and man. But in this Christian relationship, God has already done all the work to close that gap, again, so that we might know Jesus and be known by Him. Also, it's a relationship in the sense that religion, on the other hand, is about a magic formula oftentimes, being able to say the right words. And I've seen even in Christian circles, sometimes we say, you know, if you just pray a right prayer, Jesus will be heard by you. But clearly here, Jesus is saying just the words, Lord, Lord, by and of itself doesn't mean anything. It's not just knowing Jesus, but it's also being known by Jesus. It is a two-way relationship. And so for those of us who are Christians, we begin this Christian life in a thankful relationship, knowing Jesus and being known by Jesus. It's just that simple. It's not about what we do. It's not about what we don't do. It's what Jesus has already done. It's not about what we say or don't say. It's what Jesus has already said. Now, Jesus says, and has already told us in this sermon, that there are some people who are false prophets. And now He's telling us that there even are some people who are false followers. They either have forgotten that it's all about relationship and not about religion, or they just simply never knew it. But the key is, as we look at these verses today, that many, and this word many, by the way, is not my word, it's Jesus' word, that there are many who name Jesus as Lord, but who do not follow Him and who do not do what the Lord wants, who do not do the desires of the Lord. Notice the threefold works that these false followers do. They prophesy, they cast out demons, and they do mighty works. So there is no question that things are getting done. Even more haunting is these words that follow each time, "in your name." We have the sense here that many people, again, are doing what they think Jesus wants them to do, but not necessarily what the Lord actually wants done. So here's the important question for us this morning as we contemplate this important passage from the Bible. Am I doing what I think Jesus wants, or am I doing what he actually wants? How can I know that? The only answer is in being in a relationship with Jesus. Ultimately, for each one of us, this idea of relationship with Jesus is the most important thing there is. It's the most important relationship in our life. It's more important than any work we do. It's more important than anything else. So this morning, when I asked the question at the opening, what's more important, the work or knowing Jesus? We might even put it more bluntly, what's more important, the work of Jesus or knowing Jesus? You see, there's this idea that many people get stuck on autopilot. They just keep on doing what they've always done without checking in with Jesus to see if they're still on the right track or not. Remember that the whole point of naming Jesus as Lord is that we submit to his will. These people who are the ones who enter the kingdom are the ones, Jesus says, who do the will of God the Father who is in heaven. Throughout this sermon, we've had this idea that heaven is not necessarily just a place or the afterlife, but it's where God the Father's will is done. And so really for us, that is our objective, is to do the will of God the Father. That's what we should be about as Christ followers, not just doing what we think he would want us to do. And this means that we have got to stay in a close relationship with Jesus. This means that we have got to take the time to get away and to be quiet and just listen, to submit ourselves to whatever it is he asks. And we can't do that if we're just too busy doing what we think he wants us to do. The important lesson, I think, from this passage is that we don't want to lose the prize. It's worth remembering that Jesus is concluding this great Sermon on the Mount, telling us about the kingdom of heaven. This kingdom of heaven can happen in the here and now, not in the great by and by, right here, right now, if we're known by Jesus. Thanks for joining me on this morning, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.